Charlie Veitch is an activist and filmmaker joining me via Skype from Manchester. Mr. Veitch, thank you very much for being with us. Over £1.2 billion are being spent on the Queen's Diamond Jubilee at a time, of course, of a worsening economic crisis. Do you think that this was the right decision, or at least the best way for Britain to celebrate the Queen's 60 years of rule at this times of economic and social crisis?
Well, I feel that from a propaganda maintaining the state's superiority and power over the grand amounts of peasants and public, it's a wonderful propaganda event. It's cost the British economy 275 million because it came along with a two-day holiday. The actual organization of it was 32 million pounds, so incredibly bad value, I would say. But in terms of maintaining a 1,000-year bloodline kind of stranglehold over the minds and hearts and souls of people, it's an incredible success for them. When you look at the Republic protest or my protest in central Manchester 2 days ago, you see that the public, the manufactured consent of the public, as Noam Chomsky would put it, is entirely on the side of the Queen and the royal family. And in terms of equality, justice, fairness, democracy, these are concepts which the British public seem to forget for just a few days, whilst they worship a demigod. She's almost like a mythological creature. And in Great Britain, just like North Korea or Russia, you got to be very careful with how you criticize the monarchy. And I got threatened by the Manchester police to leave the city and to cease my protest. Otherwise, I would be arrested for breach of the peace just for having an effigy of the Queen.
Right, well, there's two questions here for those who are supporters of the monarchy. One is they say, well, events like these have a lot to say when it comes to tourism for the UK. And after all, we're seeing the huge number of people who participate in these kinds of celebrations and seem at least very happy about it. They're celebrating. And they also say the Queen does not have any political role. The political decisions are not made by her, and she's just a symbolic figure. What's your argument in both cases?
Well, she isn't just a symbolic figure. She is the leader of the most powerful royal family on earth. She is the figurehead at the top of Britain's ancient social hierarchy system. And in terms of bringing in tourists, I don't think, I've never met a tourist who's actually met a member of the royal family. I think what tourists come to look at are the incredible palaces which the royal family mafia has accumulated over the years. And all these American or Chinese or Japanese or Iranian tourists coming to London will still have the exact same experience with every palace, every royal experience that they can possibly have without a royal family. In the year 2012, it makes me deeply ashamed to be British that we talk about cricket and justice and fairness on one side, and then we all worship a monarch that's been a royal bloodline for the last 1,000 years. It makes no sense. But not very much does make sense when you're talking about the British or American governments these days.
So you're basically saying that the Queen is not a symbolic figure, and actually, for instance, the statements that she reads out in Parliament, the fact that she has to approve bills we know by Parliament, a lot of people were saying, well, these are comments that are given to her, for instance, by the Prime Minister. She will not move towards directions that the government would not want, because that would be breaking this consensus, so to speak, among politicians, that she has to be in line with what politicians are saying.
Well, if she's only a kind of symbolic figurehead, I need to ask the British establishment, why not get rid of her completely? She is one of the biggest landowners on the planet. I've looked at rough estimates of her family's personal wealth at over 17 trillion pounds. That's over 25 trillion US dollars, which seems to be, could potentially be enough money to bail out the whole economy for the planet. So it's just, I think mostly, yes, the British public, they support it. They think it's a wonderful thing. But then again, we have to look back to Hitler's Nazi Germany. They all supported the internment of Jewish people. They supported the invasion of Poland, and they supported the massive war machine. So public support or government consensus, in my opinion, is no substitute for actual morality and ethics.
Charlie Veitch, activist and filmmaker, joining us there via Skype from Manchester. Thank you very much for being with us.